So what do you think? Should I jump ship? Should I look at one of these other companies, one of these other trucking operations here that's similar to Walmart or Union or pays well, that kind of thing? Well, I'll be honest with you, I've thought about it before. Actually, I've thought about it quite often. I mean, I watch a lot of YouTube. I see a lot of videos on, people that talk about their job or they're getting interviewed in podcasts about working for a particular company. And, it all looks pretty good, actually. I look at that and I think, well, how do people view my videos? I mean, are they thinking the same thing? Like, oh, we're going to jump ship like right away. Or, oh, that guy's, full of it. Well, I can only assume people look at it the way I look at it. I mean, when people are talking really good about something, there must be something to it, right? Well, just recently I was watching a podcast and it was about the guy that just got on with UPS. Well, he'd been on for about, I think, a year or so, something like that. Anyway, and I'm listening to everything he has to say, and it sounds pretty good. I'm just like, that wouldn't be a bad thing. It looks like they might pay a little more, or looks like the benefits might be better. And so I'm listening to it, and it's a live chat podcast, so I was asking questions, things like, well, what about PTO days? How many days you get off a year? Or is it easy to get days off at a drop of a hat? Or, do they got a stock purchase plan? These types of things. And he's answering them the best he can. And, it's not, to me, it's not like it was drastically better than what I have at Walmart, but some of it sound like it might have been a little bit better. And so, let's look at it for a minute. So let's say I made an extra, I don't know, $15,000, $20,000 a year if I went to one of these companies compared to what I'm doing now. And, how many more years am I going to work? 10 more years? 8, 10, something like that. So, maybe I can make an extra couple $100,000, in a 10-year period. So is that really worth it? That might be. I don't know. It depends on who you are. As far as I'm concerned, that's not really worth it. The other thing is I've looked, like UPS, for example. Most all the UPS drivers I see out here, California and Oregon, they're all driving like doubles and triples. Well, that looks like a lot of work, breaking down all those trailers, getting those dollies set up, hooking all these trailers up, having to drop and hook. I got one trailer and I don't have to drop and hook it that often. Maybe once, twice a day max. So, that looks a little bit tiring. What else? Well, here's something that really got me thinking. Back in the old days, I say the old days, 20 years ago, you'd see on the back of a lot of these trailers, it would say X amount of cents per mile up to a certain amount of cents per mile. And you're like, what is that about? Well, that was about if you had experience. Sometimes it would say based on your experience. So if you'd been driving for 20 years, instead of getting, I don't even know what the rates were back then. Instead of getting 22 cents a mile, maybe you get, 36 cents a mile. I don't know. And I don't ever really see that anymore. Matter of fact, do companies even do that anymore? Do they look at how much experience you got and then up your pay? Or when you start a company nowadays, you just start out at the bottom? Well, I don't hear people saying that anymore. So I'm assuming you got to start at the bottom. Plus, you're at the bottom of the seniority, and that's always been the case, even back in the day. And that might be kind of a big deal. Like, for example, UPS. You're not going to be, maybe you're not going to get full time right out the gate. It may take, I think the guy said it would take like a couple of years to really get guaranteed full time. Although he's working plenty in that first year or two to make a living. So, I mean, there's no issue there. But, I mean, basically, you got to pay your dues, right? I look at Mr. By the Mile. He works for ABF, which is, what do you call it? It's a union thing. And again, back to breaking up those doubles, dropping and hooking trailers, staying in motel rooms occasionally, and that kind of thing. And it looks like a lot of work. Hey, you know what? I get it. If you're young, I've asked people, I'm like, why would you want to work so hard just to get that little bit of extra money? And they say, well, I'm young. This is the time I need to be making it. And I don't know what, I guess y'all think when you get to a certain age, you just fall apart. I'm 54. I'm feeling pretty good. So I don't know when that time comes, but I definitely think a lot more about, I don't really want to work that hard. It's not that I'm lazy. It's just that, work smarter, not harder. I mean, but to me, that seems a lot more important. But I mean, again, like I said, like one of these union things, Mr. By the Mile, he works at ABF, and he talks about getting a pension, which we don't have a pension here. We have a 401k. They match up to 6%, dollar per dollar. And I've known plenty of people who've gotten a lot of money out of that. But, maybe a pension, something that might be better. We got a stock purchase plan. I don't know if other companies do that or not, but I mean, you end up getting a percentage of free. I forget how much. I think it's like $12 out of every $75 of stock you get. But, I don't see too many companies talking about that too much. Plus, how's their stock doing? What else? What other things about jumping ship that might be a good thing? Maybe just to change the scenery. I got some pretty good scenery right now. I mean, of course, I know some Walmart drivers, they don't. They got to work in the big cities and deal with the traffic every day. I got a pretty good deal. I mean, pretty much open country in the mountains, snow-covered mountains sometimes in the winter, but, lakes, farmland. There's some cities, no doubt, but I mean, to me, they're not bad. Things like Portland or Redding or Seattle or Sacramento, that stuff don't bother me. Bay Area, it's not that bad, although I don't go down there very often. So I don't know. You're going to have to offer some pretty good scenery for me to want to jump ship on a reason like that. But, one of the things I think about is that, we kind of get treated like family here. Hey, I'm not saying that doesn't happen at other companies. It probably does. But I don't hear nothing about it. I don't hear groups of people saying, oh, yeah, you're like one of the family, working in one of these other companies. But I do hear that a lot here at Walmart. I get along with everybody. Everybody likes each other, at least where I, out of Red Bluff. People are wanting to help you and lend a hand if you got issues or whatever. And drivers, it don't matter what DC they're out of. Generally, drivers are always excited to talk to another driver. I don't know about excited, but I mean, happy to talk to another driver. That's not always true. There is a few DCs where they don't seem too friendly, but overall, I mean, pretty much everybody's pretty friendly. That's kind of nice atmosphere. One thing I think about back in the old days, it wasn't just working myself to death, which I did a lot of that. It was, people just didn't talk much. It was like, just go to work, get your job done, go home, cash check, go back and do it again. And, I kind of like an easygoing atmosphere where I don't have to worry about that kind of thing. So, again, why would I want to jump ship? Well, in the position I'm in, I probably don't want to jump ship. I just think about stuff. I'm like, the grass is always greener on the other side. The choices of schedules here is just, it's awesome. I don't know of any other companies that offers many different schedules. I don't even know them all. Like me, 5 on, 5 off. A lot of these drivers do 5 on 2 off. They do, 6 on 3 off, 6 on 2 off. I mean, these are just some off the top of my head. What companies do that? Where they offer that much. So, yeah, for me, that's kind of a thing. But I'm not going to tell anybody that, somebody wants to go to UPS or somebody wants to go to ABF or whatever it is, one of these companies. I'm not going to tell you that it's wrong or that Walmart's going to be better, because for you, maybe it's not better. I mean, maybe you want to make that extra, money, if it's even available. I don't even know if that's true. A lot of our drivers make about $140 a year. I've heard some people say that UPS makes way more. Somebody was trying to tell me 200 something 1,000, and I'm like, I don't think so. But the guy that was getting interviewed the other day, I think he said he was going to make like 126, and he's like 2 years into it. And I'm like, well, the thing is that a lot of the drivers that get hired on here, Walmart will tell you can make up to 110 the first year. And I've talked to quite a few drivers that are like, oh no, I made 115 or 120. So I'm not really seeing that extra $10,000, $20,000 a year extra, at least not in that job. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, there may be good reason why somebody would like to work for one of them places versus Walmart. Generally, it's because everything we've heard about Walmart, and so we just say, well, they're evil or bad or, not a good place to work for, or blah, 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 which is, I won't say it's impossible. Maybe there are places out there in the U.S. that didn't have a good experience. I haven't seen it. And I just got done here several months ago meeting drivers from every distribution center in the United States. There's 100 of them. And pretty much everybody was like, nope, it's the greatest ever. We love it. So I'm not sure where that's coming from, that, this is a bad place, but who knows? There could be situations I don't know about. But as far as, people want to work somewhere else, they don't want to work at Walmart. Hey, if I can help you out, I will. I've said it before. I'm not here to get, the referral bonus or any of that. Email me. I don't know what I can really tell you about one of these other companies other than what I've learned online, which you could probably do the same thing. I could tell you about truck driving. I could tell you about, the last 24 years of what I've been doing and what I've dealt with. I could try to help you there. Probably can't help you much with these individual companies and what their rules and regs are and how it goes. But I'm willing to help anybody, even if you're going to go and get a job somewhere else. I'm totally good with that. So, I mean, this is some of the stuff that I've been thinking about here lately. Do I really want to go somewhere else, or am I happy where I'm at? And yeah, I'm definitely happy where I'm at. This is living the good life as far as I'm concerned. So we gave away the camera the other day. David G, I think that's who it was, yeah. Out of, I think he's off the East Coast there. I won't say where he's at, but sent that off. UPS should be at his house here in just a couple of days. So we're ready for something new. We're ready for a new thing for a giveaway. I'd like to try to give away something every month if I can. So somebody said, oh, well, you got to be part of the membership to win. And I said, no, you don't. Actually, anybody can enter. Well, probably, and then they turned around and said, well, probably somebody in the membership is the one that won it. And I said, no, it wasn't. So don't get confused if I say, hey, you know what? I got a membership program, and basically I want you guys to help me decide what we're giving away, what content's going to be out here, and what printed apparel I should be coming up with. And plus, I'm going to probably do some talking over there like I wouldn't talk here. And so go over and check that out if you want, and then you could be one of the people that helps decide what the next giveaway is going to be, for starters. And maybe see some content and hear me say a few things I wouldn't dare say on here. We'll see. So there you go. That's my video for this week. I'm here in Grants Pass, Oregon, doing a little walk around the parking lot here. And yeah, living the good life. We're not jumping ship. Catch you next week.